You've been told your whole life to avoid sugar. But what if the real enemy is something far more cunning, hiding in plain sight? What if the reason you feel tired, foggy, and constantly battling cravings has less to do with your willpower, and everything to do with a deliberate deception happening right in your own kitchen? We've all heard it 1,000 times. Sugar is the enemy. Cut out sugar, and you'll be healthy. But what if that's only a tiny piece of a much larger, more complicated puzzle? We've been so focused on that one white crystal that we've missed the bigger picture. The truth is, many foods, even those marketed as healthy, are loaded with ingredients that are far more damaging. They are designed with a single, manipulative purpose: to get you hooked. Today, we are going on a journey of discovery. We're going to pull back the curtain and expose the 10 most dangerous ingredients hiding in our food. We'll uncover the gut's silent disruptor, expose the twin flames of inflammation that can make our joints ache, and reveal the invisible intruder that may be lurking in even healthy whole grains. And you absolutely must stay for our final revelation. It's the one piece of the puzzle that explains why it's so hard to just eat healthy. It's the secret behind the chemistry that creates uncontrollable cravings. And understanding it will change the way you look at your pantry and your health forever. If you're ready to reclaim your vitality and arm yourself with the knowledge they don't want you to have, make sure you subscribe to our channel and join our community. And just a quick, important reminder: all the information shared today is for educational purposes. Everyone's health situation is unique, so please consult your doctor or healthcare provider before making any significant changes to your diet or health regimen, especially if you have pre-existing conditions or are on medication. Our goal is to empower you with knowledge so you can have informed discussions and make the best choices for your life. All right, let's begin our countdown, starting with something you might find in your morning toast. Our first red flag: potassium bromate. Let's start with the bread aisle. You see a loaf that looks perfectly white, fluffy, and resilient. It has that ideal texture. Often, the secret to that texture is an ingredient called potassium bromate. It's a dough conditioner, a chemical used to strengthen the dough and help it rise higher during baking. The concern, however, is that while it creates a desirable product for the manufacturer, it comes with a significant health risk. The International Agency for Research on Cancer considers it a possible human carcinogen. During the baking process, it's supposed to convert into a harmless substance, potassium bromide, but, and this is a critical but, if the bread isn't baked for long enough, at a high enough temperature, or if too much is added in the first place, residual amounts can remain in the finished product. To truly grasp how this works, let's use an analogy. Imagine you're painting a room. You use a strong chemical solvent to help the paint apply smoothly and dry perfectly. The instructions say to let the room air out for 48 hours, during which the toxic fumes will completely dissipate. Potassium bromate is like that solvent. When the baking process is perfect, the fumes are gone. However, if the manufacturer cuts corners, maybe they bake it a little faster to increase output. It's like you walking back into that room after only 24 hours. The paint looks dry, but the invisible, toxic fumes are still lingering in the air. Therefore, you are being exposed to something potentially harmful, even though the final product looks perfectly safe. Many countries have banned potassium bromate, yet it's still permitted in the United States. Our best course of action, then, is to be vigilant label readers. Look for breads that are bromate-free or choose organic options which don't permit its use. A preservative with a dark side. Sodium nitrate next. Let's move over to the deli counter and the processed meats section. That bacon, those hot dogs, those cured meats that maintain a fresh, pinkish red color for weeks. How do they do that? The answer is often sodium nitrate, or its cousin, sodium nitrate. These are preservatives used to prevent bacterial growth and to fix that appealing color. Here's the catch. These compounds, on their own, are one thing, but when they are heated, especially at high temperatures, like when you're frying bacon or grilling a hot dog, they can transform into nitrosamines, And that's where the real trouble begins. Nitrosamines are compounds that have been shown in numerous animal studies to be potent carcinogens. While the research in humans is observational, the link is strong enough that many health organizations recommend limiting consumption of processed meats. Think of it this way. Imagine sodium nitrate is like a perfectly calm, sleeping dog. In the package, at cold temperatures, it's mostly docile. It's just lying there, doing its job of keeping things safe. However, applying high heat is like poking that sleeping dog with a very hot stick. It wakes up angry, transforms its nature, and becomes aggressive and dangerous in the form of nitrosamines. Consequently, the very act of cooking these foods in the way we enjoy them most is what unleashes their most problematic potential. This is a clear case where the truth they don't tell you is that the danger isn't just in the ingredient itself, but in what it becomes when you prepare it. An old enemy, still lurking, trans fats. Now for a name we all recognize. Trans fats, often listed as partially hydrogenated oils. For decades, this was public enemy number one. And for good reason. They were engineered to give foods a long shelf life and a satisfying texture. The primary danger lies in their effect on our cardiovascular system. They raise your bad LDL cholesterol while simultaneously lowering your good HDL cholesterol. A devastating double whammy for your arteries. While the FDA has taken steps to phase them out, and they are much less common than they used to be, there's a catch. The regulations have a loophole. If a serving of food contains less than 0.5 grams of trans fat, the manufacturer is allowed to round down and list 0 grams on the nutrition label. But, and this is a loophole you can drive a truck through, if you eat several servings of that food, a few cookies, a handful of crackers, some microwave popcorn, you could be consuming a significant amount of this artery-clogging fat without even knowing it. Imagine your health as a boat, and trans fats are tiny, invisible leaks. One leak, less than half a gram, might not seem like a big deal. You can bail out that little bit of water isolé. The label even tells you, no leaks here. However, if you have dozens of these 0-gram leaks from various foods throughout your day, your boat starts taking on a lot of water. As a result, you could be sinking your cardiovascular health, all while believing you're sailing smoothly because the labels assured you there were no leaks to worry about. The hidden drain in your drink, phosphates. Let's talk about dark-colored sodas. Many of us know they're full of sugar or artificial sweeteners, but there's another ingredient to watch. Phosphoric acid. This is what gives colas their tangy flavor and slows the growth of mold and bacteria. What's critical to understand is the importance of balance. Your body needs phosphorus, but it needs it in careful balance with calcium. The modern diet, especially one high in processed foods and sodas, provides a massive excess of phosphorus. This overabundance can pose a serious risk. It acts as a stimulant, which is part of why soda gives you a perk up, but it also causes your body to mobilize calcium from your bones. Let's use an analogy of a bank account. Calcium is your savings, carefully stored in your bones. Vitamin K2 is the wise bank manager who ensures that any calcium withdrawals are deposited where they re-needed, like back into bone. Phosphoric acid from soda is like a rogue bank teller who constantly encourages you to take out large, unnecessary cash withdrawals. If you don't have enough of the bank manager vitamin K2 on duty, that withdrawn calcium doesn't go back into savings. Instead, it gets left out in the open where it can cause harm, like calcifying your arteries. Therefore, a chronic habit of drinking dark sodas is like constantly draining your bone savings account and leaving dangerous piles of cash where they belong, creating long-term risks for both your bones and your heart. The gut's silent disruptor, artificial sweeteners. In our war against sugar, many have turned to artificial sweeteners, like aspartame, sucralose, and saccharin. They offer the sweetness without the calories, which sounds like a perfect solution. But the trouble begins in a place most of us never think about, our gut microbiome. This complex ecosystem of trillions of bacteria is like a second brain, influencing everything from our digestion to our mood to our immune system. And these artificial chemicals are profoundly disruptive to this delicate community. Imagine your gut microbiome is a vibrant, bustling rainforest, full of thousands of different species of plants, animals, and insects, all living in a complex, symbiotic balance. This ecosystem is essential for the health of the entire planet, your body. Now, introduce an artificial sweetener. It's not like a bomb that kills everything. It's more like a highly specific poison that doesn't harm the trees or the big animals, but it completely wipes out the bees and the earthworms. You might look at the rainforest and think it seems fine, but without those critical workers pollinating the plants and conditioning the soil, the entire ecosystem will slowly begin to collapse. As a result, artificial sweeteners, by disrupting the balance of our gut bacteria, can silently undermine our health from the inside out, even as we think we're making a healthy choice. The liver's sugar burden, high fructose corn syrup. Here's another familiar villain. High fructose corn syrup, or It's cheap, it's intensely sweet, and it's everywhere, from sodas and juices to ketchup and salad dressings. We know it's bad, but the reason why is crucial. The danger lies in how our body processes it. Unlike glucose, which can be used by nearly every cell in your body for energy, the fructose component of HFCS makes a beeline straight for your liver. This places an immense burden on that single organ. Your liver has to work overtime to metabolize it, and when it's overwhelmed, it starts converting that fructose into fat. This leads directly to a fatty liver, inflammation, and insulin resistance. The stepping stone to type 2 diabetes. Think of your body's energy processing system like a city's mail delivery service. Glucose is like a standard letter. It can be delivered to any address, any cell, in the entire city. It's a very efficient system. High fructose corn syrup, however, is like a massive, unexpected shipment of 10,000 packages that can only be delivered to one single building, the main post office. Your liver. The postal workers are completely overwhelmed. They can't sort and deliver it all. Consequently, they just start piling the packages up in the hallways and storage rooms, creating a massive, dysfunctional mess. That mess is the fat accumulating in your liver, causing chaos for your entire metabolic health. The invisible intruder. Glyphosate. This is one that doesn't appear on any ingredient list, yet it may be in many of the foods we eat, especially those made from wheat, corn, and soy. I'm talking about glyphosate, the active ingredient in the herbicide Roundup. At the heart of this is a heated debate. Proponents argue that the levels found in food are too low to harm humans directly, but this argument completely ignores a critical factor. Our microbiome, our gut bacteria, are susceptible to glyphosate. It was even patented as an antibiotic. This chemical can disrupt our delicate gut flora, and the World Health Organization has classified it as a probable human carcinogen because of GMOs, or as they're now called, bioengineered ingredients. Many crops are designed to withstand being sprayed with it. What's more shocking is that it's also sprayed on non-GMO crops, like wheat, right before harvest to dry them out, sometimes in even greater quantities. Let's use this analogy. Imagine you live in a house with a very sophisticated security system. Your human body's cells that is supposedly resistant to a certain type of intruder. The chemical companies will tell you, don't worry, this intruder can't get past your front door. However, you also have a team of essential live-in helpers, your gardeners, your cooks, your maintenance crew, your microbiome, who are extremely vulnerable to this intruder. The intruder gets in and, while it can't harm you directly, it systematically takes out your entire support staff. As a result, even though you remain safe, your house falls into disrepair, your food supply dwindles, and your overall environment becomes toxic. This is how glyphosate can impact our health, not by attacking us directly, but by destroying the vital allies we depend on. The twin flames of inflammation. Heated carbohydrates and seed oils. This one is a combination, and it's one of the most pervasive and damaging duos in the modern diet. I'm talking about refined carbohydrates, like potatoes or flour, that are heated to high temperatures in industrial seed oils like soybean, corn, or canola oil. Think French fries, potato chips, and most fried foods. The danger here is twofold. First, Heating starchy carbohydrates creates toxic byproducts like second, industrial seed oils, which are already damaged by the heat and chemical processing used to make them, become incredibly inflammatory when heated again for frying. When you combine a starch sugar with a protein or a fat under heat, you create something called AGEs, or advanced glycation end products. These AGEs are like little bits of cellular shrapnel, causing oxidative stress and inflammation throughout your body, damaging your arteries, your eyes, your kidneys, and your brain. Imagine your cells are like delicate, intricate silk threads. AGEs are like tiny, hot embers. When these embers land on the silk, they scorch it, making it brittle, weak, and Now, picture the seed oils. They are like a flammable liquid. Consuming them on their own is illegal. But when you use them to deep fry a starchy food, it's like dousing those hot embers in gasoline before they land on the silk. Therefore, you create an explosive, inflammatory reaction that massively accelerates the damage to your body's delicate tissue. This combination is a perfect storm for chronic inflammation, which is at the root of so many age-related diseases. The Craving Creator MSG, monosodium glutamate, MSG. It has a controversial history, often associated with Chinese restaurant syndrome. While that specific link has been debated, the true purpose and function of MSG in our food system is far less ambiguous. It is a flavor enhancer. Its job is to make food taste more savory, more delicious, more addictive. The core concern with MSG is not just about potential headaches. It's about how it manipulates your brain and your hunger signals. It targets specific receptors, making low-quality, cheap ingredients taste incredibly appealing. It can make you want to keep eating long after you're physically full. In laboratory settings, MSG is literally injected into rodents to make them obese for research because it affects the hypothalamus and triggers them to eat voraciously. While the industry argues it doesn't have the same effect on humans, can we really ignore its fundamental purpose? Think of your taste buds and brain as a lock-and-key system. Real, whole foods have natural keys that fit the locks and tell your brain, this is nutritious, this is satisfying. MSG is a master lockpick. It doesn't have any nutritional value, but it's expertly designed to jiggle the lock on your brain's glutamate receptors in a way that sends an overwhelmingly powerful signal. This is the most delicious thing you have ever eaten. You must have more. However, because the food itself is often devoid of real nutrition and protein, your body remains unsatisfied on a cellular level. As a result, you are driven to eat more and more, caught in a cycle of craving and empty calories, all engineered by a chemical designed to trick your brain. And that brings us to our final and most important revelation, the one that ties all of this together. The ultimate deception, engineering addiction with synthetic flavorings. We've talked about individual ingredients, but now we need to talk about the master plan, the overarching intention behind so much of modern junk food. It's hidden behind one simple, innocent-looking word on the ingredient list: flavoring or natural flavors. This is the ultimate deception. That single word isn't one thing. It's a chemical cocktail, a proprietary blend that can contain anywhere from 50 to over 200 different chemicals. These are not designed to stimulate your tongue. They are designed to stimulate your brain. They're engineered by scientists to hit what's called the bliss point, the perfect combination of salt, fat, and sweet, combined with a sensory explosion of aroma and chemical triggers that light up the pleasure centers of your brain like a pinball machine. The entire goal is to create a flavor experience that is so intense, yet so fleeting, that you are neurologically compelled to take another bite. It spikes your dopamine, 10 banices, leaving you wanting that fix again. It's not food, it's a drug delivery system. It's the reason you can't eat just one chip. It's the reason people can mindlessly devour an entire bag of chips, not because they are hungry, but because their brain is addicted to the intense, short-lived chemical fireworks. This is the truth they don't tell you. The food isn't just food. It's engineered to bypass your body's natural satiety signals and hook you directly at the brainstem. To truly grasp this, let's use a final analogy. Real food is like listening to a beautiful, complex piece of music played by a full orchestra. There are layers, subtleties, and a deep, lasting satisfaction. Synthetic flavoring, on the other hand, is like a single, deafeningly loud, piercingly high-pitched note played directly into your ear. It's overwhelming. It grabs your entire attention, and it's designed to be addictive in its intensity. But it has no harmony, no depth, and it leaves you feeling empty and slightly disoriented afterward. Therefore, over time, your brain becomes habituated to this intense, artificial stimulation, and the beautiful, nuanced music of real food starts to sound dull and uninteresting. This is how we lose our taste for real nourishment. It is the ultimate deception, because it steals not just our health, but our very connection to the joy of real food. And there you have it, the ultimate deception. It isn't just about one ingredient. It's about the intention to engineer food that is so irresistible it overrides our own biology. This is why we built up to it as our grand reveal. So, we've covered a lot of ground today, from our first red flag of potassium bromate through the twin flames of inflammation and the Craving Creator, all the way to this game-changing revelation about synthetic flavorings. Each one is a stepping stone to taking back control, to becoming a conscious consumer in a world that wants you to be anything but. Which of these insights? Perhaps it was the gut's silent disruptor, or maybe the invisible intruder, or even our ultimate deception of synthetic flavorings resonated with you the most. Which one are you thinking of looking out for first? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please share them in the comments below. If you found this journey through these health discoveries valuable, please give this video a thumbs up. It really helps others find our community. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more powerful strategies tailored for our fantastic community. Until next time, stay healthy, stay curious, and keep thriving.